If you guys want coins for FC24, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema, you can get yourself a lovely 5% discount. So what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different. I've actually been competing in a pro tournament run by EA. This is the FC Pro Open. I've got like my own little tab on the game and you have to, use passwords and stuff to get into games, and I thought I'd just give it a go because I thought it'd be really good content, and I wasn't disappointed. I made this guy absolutely fuming in this pro tournament with this team. Yeah, this is the team that I use, the one that you see on the screen. Yes, I'm using Madueke, Gallagher, Badiashile, Malacia. These are the players I was using, even Dean Henderson in goal, and we made this guy absolutely rage. Now, just before we get started, I don't want you guys to go and harass this guy if you find out his name. That's not what this video is for. I just thought it'd be a bit of entertainment to see me playing with this team in a pro tournament, and to be honest, I do kind of understand the frustrations. It was mainly petty raging and stuff like that. It wasn't really anything personal or super offensive. I will show you the messages later on. But just don't go out of your way to harass this guy. It's not worth it. He's probably just a bit frustrated after the game. And with all that aside, guys, let's get started. So this was a recorded game. I recorded it on the PlayStation. I would have used my Elgato, but I didn't know it'd be record worthy, if you get what I'm saying. So after the game finished, I kind of just, saved the clip and yeah, went from there. So this is actually really annoying to set up. You have to go into this competitive section and choose all the settings that they specify on the website. This was really frustrating because I won the coin flip or something like that. So I had to set all these settings. So we had to set it to, I think it was just extra time or whatever. But it was really difficult to set up because sometimes the settings would reset. I know, it happens in this as well as your controller settings. So we had to set up this extra time stuff. And yeah, and then we had to wait for him to join. If I see his name here, I might just block it so you guys can't harass him. But yeah, this was the thing. So we had to get into this pre-game lobby here. And he should join any moment now. It did take him a minute. I was talking to him in the pre-game lobby. Okay, so he's in now. And yeah, let's get started. So he was actually quite wholesome at the start, would you believe? He said good luck and everything. So I thought he was pretty sound, but I was kind of proven wrong. But yeah, the team I showed you was genuinely the team we were going to use in this tournament. And yeah, you're going to see how it goes now. So yeah. My settings reset at the start of the game. I think that's why I paused. My opponent might have got annoyed at this, I don't know, but it was genuinely because my camera reset, as you can see there. So I had to spend a good minute changing all my settings again. Thanks EA, brilliant. And then we kick off. The first thing I noticed when I played this actually was how weird the UI looks in the top left. You can see you actually get your full team name and stuff like that. It's just really weird. And the opponent has a blue indicator as if it's a LAN match, you're playing on the same console. And yeah, this guy definitely out-teamed me, by the way. He had Mbappe, Neymar, Ronaldinho, all sorts of players like that. And I was using Madueke. So yeah, it was a bit of a mismatch in that regards. But we started off quite strong. Haaland decided to just completely ghost from the kickoff and decided not to touch the ball into the net and just forgot he was a striker. And yeah, I knew I was going to be in trouble with the Mbappe. That little freeze you saw there, that was happening a lot. That was the servers. I don't know if anyone else is having this problem in FC24, but a lot of the times the games will stutter. And I've been really confused as to whether or not it's my internet, but I don't think it is at this point. And yeah, I was using an overlapping fullback in this team, by the way. Malacia was on the overlap instruction. So I was using the 4-2-3-1 narrow formation, and I was using the overlapping left fullback. So I was actually going quite attacking in this game, despite the team mismatch. A lot of the time I'd have 3 at the back and stuff like that. So it was very challenging, but I wanted to just give it a go. I didn't want to just try and park the bus and try and snag a result. I wanted to give it a real go. Mudryk took a long time to shoot there. I thought we could have scored there if he just got that shot away quicker, but he didn't. And yeah, there was a lot of this going on. When my opponent got the ball, he'd do a lot of this controlled sprint stuff, try and just, back me up, basically. Try and back me up into my own box so he could get these isolation plays going. He nearly scored there. Probably should have done, to be honest. I got a little bit lucky there. But yeah, I was like, I'll take it with the the team I'm using. But yeah, he was doing a lot of this, like wriggling and turning and stuff like that, which is fine. It's just a little bit difficult to defend with a Badia Shield at the back at times. But yeah, again, he could have scored there with Virgil van Dijk, but he didn't. That's one where I didn't think it was necessarily a must score, because you are using a centre-back and they're not always meant to score those chances. So I have been let off a couple of times at the start of this game, but, the second one wasn't really a clear-cut chance, in my opinion, with the centre-back. And yeah, I took like a really slow start, to be honest. This was like one of my first games of the day. So I was kind of just getting used to the controls and that, So I was struggling a little bit to get up to speed. I feel like this guy was warmed up, which is why he had the faster start. But yeah, at this point, I was just trying to hold on for a minute, try and make sure we didn't go 1-0 down super early and do anything silly. Just try and get a bit of possession and maybe make something happen. So you can see, again, we lose the ball by being sloppy. Our opponent goes down the wing with Ousmane Dembele. We read that really well with Van Dijk. That was something I did really well throughout this game, I think. It was my reading of passes and my ability to step in when I needed to. I think I did really well with the team disadvantage, because as you guys know, if you're coming up against Mbappe, a lot of the time he can just run straight past you. So you really have to time these things. And I think I did really well considering the circumstances. Like, you guys have to remember, this is like a really high-end game. This is a pro tournament, and I'm heavily disadvantaged with my team at the moment. So, I'm going to give myself credit where it's due. I'm not going to say I'm insane at the game, but I'm just really proud of the way that I was managing to hold on with this team. I decided to take the yellow with Van Dijk there, because if Mbappe gets through, there's no way of catching him, and he'll score a goal. So I thought it was worth it to take that yellow card there. You can see he does me there, but we managed to recover with Virgil van Dijk. But again, quite a ropey start to the game, to be honest. Not a lot happening, but also, it's not been super defensive either. It's been quite back and forth in the way that this game started. Not too much of this passing around the back malarkey. And we had a really good chance here with Madueke. I decided to just shoot because I thought he'd maybe move the goalkeeper, but he didn't, and we ended up hitting the post. But yeah, honestly, I was actually quite happy with the start. I wasn't expecting to win any game with this team, because, obviously with these players that you're coming up against, they're going to have like all these insane loans. They're going to have, Mbappe's, they're going to have Neymar's, because they're really sweaty. They want to win, and we went 1-0 down there, which is fine. So I was like, okay, maybe I've bit off a bit more than I can chew in this tournament, and I was kind of just I kind of just joined this to see how I could do with this team, because I won pretty much every game of Rivals with this team. And honestly, I've just been really enjoying using it. So I just wanted to give it a go, see if I could do it. And yeah, I was quite happy with how this went, to be honest with you. Because throughout the previous years of FIFA, every time I've picked a team, I've gone for meta things. I've gone for what you have to use for results, so like Mbappe's and stuff like that. But this year, I've really took a different approach. I'm evolving all my Chelsea players. I really just want to use different players and just use who I want to play. Like, I wanted to use Conor Gallagher, so I evolved him, and he's in my team. So that's the kind of the approach I've got this year. And whatever wins we can get is great, really, isn't it? So, I think we equalise here. No, we don't. We get tackled. But we're starting to build up a bit more pressure in the game. There's a great pass inside, great touch from Haaland, and we make it 1-1. I paused here, actually, because I thought he was cheating, and not in a bad way. I didn't accuse him of cheating or anything. I just got a bit confused of the rules. I didn't realise you could have multiple 91 pluses, and I just remembered that he had Ronaldinho and Mbappe in the same team, so I just went to clarify if that was allowed. So I didn't go out and accuse him of cheating as such, but, I just had to question that, just for my own sanity, really, and it turns out you are allowed that. So that was the reason for the pause there, and it was all fine. I don't think a lot else happened for the rest of this first half. Mainly just like a lot of back and forth, passing and intercepting. Not too much happening. But we'll skip this along because like I said, not too much happens. It's the second half where the juicy stuff starts. And yeah, so I'm just going to skip this to half time because honestly, nothing much really happened at all. And yeah. So I think that was... Oh yeah. Okay. Right. So this was the turning point, actually. This made me very angry. So watch what he does from kickoff. Okay? Just watch it. So he triggers the run. And then he kickoff glitches me. It completely took me by surprise. And it made me a little bit angry. So my first thought was, I'm going to do it back. So I did. And I was like, if you're going to score a cheap goal like that, I'll score a cheap goal like that. We'll even it out. If that's how you want to play, I'll do that back to you. So I don't think he was very happy about that for the first part. And then, for the rest of the game, he does go for all these kickoffs and stuff. I wouldn't usually go for those kickoffs, but if someone's doing that just to get an advantage over me, I will do it back if they end up scoring from it because, I'm not ready to lose based on a stupid kickoff. If you start doing that to me, I'll do it back, But yeah, this was the turning point. I think we score again here. It was a lovely pass inside and we make it 3-2. Like I said, he made me a little bit angry with that kickoff glitch and then I kind of sat forward and gave it my all. So I started focusing a lot. And yeah, I think it was at this point he started to get a little bit frustrated. There was nothing in the chat at this point. But just the way he was playing, he was getting a lot more aggressive, a lot less patient when he was on the ball. So a lot of the time he'd like run at me or make a really obvious pass into my centre backs, for example. So he was getting a little bit more frustrated, and it made it a little bit easier for me to just break him down and wear him out. So that's what we did. We just started passing around a little bit, getting a bit of possession because we were in no rush. We'd already got a goal. And then we end up making it 4 just from extra patience. We passed it around a bit, waited for an opening, and then we made it 4 with a lovely tap in from Madueke. So I was feeling a little bit confident now, like I was getting a bit of control in the game. I was really happy with that. And I think he made a tactical pause. I think this is where he started getting a little bit frustrated. There was still nothing in the chat. All of this came after the game, really. But he was getting a little bit frustrated. I think he made some substitutes. I can't be too sure. But I was in a comfortable spot here. It was 4-2. And then you can see it opens up again because he's starting to overcommit, get really aggressive. We just run around the keeper and make it 5-2. And honestly, at this point, I thought it was wraps. But this guy had other ideas. He was still trying to kick off glitch me there. You can see him triggering the run. But I read it that time. I didn't let him do it. He tries to play that ball, but we did track it. But he still ends up getting that lucky bounce back, which is really frustrating. And then I try and cut off all these passes here. And then his player ends up coming short. And then this is where I'm in trouble, really, because it's these ISO areas where they get into the box. Very difficult to defend, especially when your players don't have a lot of agility. I went for the kickoff again because he started me off on that. So it kind of triggered me and I went for it. But yeah, so it's 5-3. That was a really bad tackle, by the way. I'm surprised that wasn't a yellow card. 5-3, still in control. You got to remember I'm using a terrible team, really, of bar Haaland and Van Dijk. And yeah, at this point, I kind of just wanted to see the game out a bit. The one thing I didn't want to do was give him that extra goal to give him a bit of hope. I really had to make sure he did not get that 4th goal because you know what FIFA's like. If they get 1 goal behind, they'll end up equalising at some point. So I really didn't want to let him do that. He tried to play a lock there, but I read that with Van Dijk really well. And honestly, Conor Gallagher kind of locked it down for me in that midfield. Even though his stats are really bad, he just seemed to do really well. He intercepted everything. He worked really hard in the game and basically didn't let him do much in the middle of the park. So I was really impressed with Conor Gallagher in this game. And Tonali, obviously a very good card. But yeah, like Conor Gallagher and Badiashile here really surprised me. Did a lot, Did more than I would expect them to do based on their stats. But, I was pleasantly surprised. And that was one thing he got really annoyed at after the game. He was like, how is Badiashile catching Mbappe? But we'll get to that, like I said, after. But yeah, I think my players did really well. I was really happy with it. Look at that ball from Mudryk, by the way. Nearly 6-3 with the dive-in header from Erling Haaland. Yeah, honestly, it started to become a bit more free-flowing at this point in the game because he needed to chase those goals and I could afford to, basically just pass through him and maybe kill it off, because it was a lot more open. I didn't have to break him down as much when it came to attacking. So it just became a lot easier. I didn't want to overcommit all my players forward on the attack though, because I did not want him to end up getting that counter-attack chance where all my players are committed up the pitch, because that's what he was doing. At this point, he was committing a lot of players up the pitch to try and get those, equalizers, and I tried not to let that happen pretty much. You can see again, bit of patience here. We play a lovely through ball with James Maddison, one more with Haaland, and then we make it 6-3. And then from there, I was like, that's it. That's the game. That's all done. And yeah, so he still didn't want to quit at this point. He had Ronaldinho on the ball. Again, he was trying to do some cheese with Mbappe with the heel to ball roll, whatever you call it. And I wasn't going to let it happen. So I really just wanted him to quit and let this be done so I could leave. And then we tried to make it 7 just so we could let that happen. We look for another opportunity here. Go for the cutback. Gallagher with the nice Ronaldo chop. Nothing happens there, but I try and read all these passes when he tries to play out. And again, you can see I did that with Gallagher. Stopped him from getting out, kept up the pressure, and then gave him the ball back. I thought I was in a little bit of trouble here. It was like a 5v4 or whatever. He had the man advantage, but we somehow managed to get the ball back. Madueke running down the wing. We play in Haaland. I go for the finesse shot here, which I really think should have been a goal, but it wasn't. So still 6, but that would have probably frustrated me a lot more if the game was earlier on and we needed another goal. That probably should have been a goal as well, the cutback there to Maddison, but he decided to prat around. And then look at this to end the game. Erling Braut Haaland. Look at that, 7-3. And then he decided he had completely had enough, and that was it. I beat his really overpowered, expensive team with basically a bunch of idiots on my team. Madueke, Badiashile, Conor Gallagher, and Malacia. So, that was it. I just thought it'd be really entertaining to show you guys that. And I'll show you the chats that he sent after the game right now. Alright then, so to protect this guy, what I did was I inspected the element on this site and just changed his name to opponent for everything. That's just so people don't see his name. I don't want to get in trouble for that or anything. And I don't want to be responsible for getting anybody hate, because honestly, it's not too bad. But as you can see here, we reported the game 7-3. We won in the FC Pro Open ladder. You can see the start of the chat here. So I won the coin flip. Then he says post the code, cool. And this is where he said good luck, like I said at the start of the video. So he seemed alright at the start, and then I just said you too, so this was before the game started. And then this was when I paused and said, oh, can you have 2 91 plus players? I was a little bit confused, and then he says you can have that. So I said, okay, I'm sorry, I was confused. And he says I only have mapped who is 90. I think he meant Mbappe, but it doesn't really matter. So I was alright with that. And then I said, my bad. And then he went on to say, after the game, haha, cheater, Badiashile quicker than Mbappe, lol. I think he was talking about that chance where he went through into the box and I sealed him out with Badiashile. So, yeah, that was the first thing he said. I thought that was a bit of a weird thing to complain about. And then he says, handicap at its finest. So now he's saying I only won because of EA. I'll let you guys decide that in the comments, whether or not I deserve to win the game. But that just made me laugh. So I decided to just snap back a little bit and say, look, you're a sore loser. Which he was, starting all that. So I said, sore loser. That was it, I thought. And then he goes, games ball, you're trash, handicap. And I said, cry about it. So yeah, that was basically it. He turned out to be really toxic, got very angry, and blamed EA for the fact that I won the game when he could not beat a team of, pretty much terrible gold rares and non-rare golds, So I don't really know what his problem was. Probably just really angry that he lost. But I thought it was a really funny thing to share with you guys. Me making somebody rage in one of these tournaments with a really terrible team. Let me know in the comments if you guys think I was lucky or not. Genuinely, I want your honest opinion to see if this guy has any points or not. But, I just kind of clapped back because he was annoying me at this point. You know, he could have just said GG and moved on. So I was just hitting back and said, look, you're a sore loser, and cry about it, because, you know, he was getting on my nerves at that point. You know, I won 7-3, you know, just get over it at that point, you know. You can play this game as much as you want in the open ladder and just get your skill rating back up, but, you know, decided to trash talk. So I just thought I'd share it with you guys, and yeah, that's basically it for the video. If you have enjoyed, please be sure to drop this a like, sub to the channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications. And with all that aside, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.